So this is version 3, and this time I'm going to use the confidence interval to assess whether or not I would capture the claimed mean. So notice the only thing that's changed is I'm doing a z-interval instead of the z-test, and that just tells the reader that I'm going to do the calculations for an interval, not the test. Notice my hypotheses are still the same, and my conditions have not changed either. So now I'm ready to do the calculation, but the calculation is going to be for an interval. So on this one, if I'm going to be able to create the interval, I need to know the confidence level, and in order to get that confidence level, I'm going to need to use my reject zone. So now, again, since the alternative was greater than, I know that this reject zone lives only on the right. So there's 0.01 all living over there on the right. Now I have to remember that my confidence interval still measured from the center out, which means I have some unaccounted for stuff over here. But due to symmetry, I know that this has to be 0.01 because it must match the right. And so now I've used 2% total in the tails, which means I have 98% confidence. So there's my confidence level. And so now when I look up the z star for 98%, I get 2.326. That number should probably seem familiar after you looked at version 2. So I'm ready to do the calculation of my interval. Remember, here's my formula. So I have 86.7 plus or minus 2.326, and then the standard deviation over the square root of n. And the values that I get are from 83.72 to 89.68. And remember, the whole idea of creating the confidence interval was to be able to ask and answer the question about, did we capture the true mean? And so since my value for my null hypothesis was 83.2, if I look, 83.2 would live out here. So now your hoe lives outside your interval. So if she's outside, you must reject. And this time the conclusion is going to look, again, slightly different. And we can say, since our hoe is not contained in our interval, we reject the null. Again, must state the significance level. Struggling on spelling level. And therefore conclude the mean reading scores are greater than 83.2. So you can see how each one has a little bit different flavor.